Ahoy!
Welcome to Bottom of the Stream, Season 2, Episode 23.
Yes.
Wow. 2 more left after this episode, and that will bring us to the end of our second season.
Where has the time gone?
I don't know, it's crazy. We've been going nearly a year.
Yes.
That's mad.
Yeah, that
is absolutely mad.
Cool achievement.
Yeah, I'm really proud of us.
Managed to put something out every week.
Yeah, definitely. Not missed a single week so far. Touch wood.
I am touching wood.
Me too.
Sorry, that's too much information. What a way to start.
Talking of birthdays, it was Grief Burrito's birthday last week, so give them a bit of a shout out and say happy birthday to those boys.
Many happy returns.
Congratulations on your 1 year of podcasting.
You look terrible for one,
but sound awesome.
Yeah.
As we start, I'll run through the social medias. Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, BOTS_podcast. Follow us on Instagram, that's the same, BOTS_podcast. Facebook.com/bottom of the stream. And the website is www.bottomofthestream.com, where you'll find every episode we've ever recorded and both season stream tables. And you can also follow us now on Patreon, which is patreon.com/bottomofthestream, where you can help support the show by giving us a little bit of money each month, and we will make things better and send you some merch and some shout outs and shit.
If you can't do that, then leave us a review on Podchaser or on Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
I thought you were going to cough.
No.
Good. Well held. Did you inhale it?
I inhaled my cough.
You're now internally coughing. We should probably say I'm Nick.
I was just going to say it at the beginning. At the end of that, we sounded really professional, and then you stopped and thought I was going to cough, and we didn't then.
You did the pre-coughing pose.
This is Nick, I'm Adam, and we are your hosts who go through the shit films every week and see if they're any good.
Hey, they're not always shit.
They're not always shit, some of them are good. The last few weeks we've had some success.
We are navigating this boat down the stream of Netflix.
Absolutely are indeed. How have you been this week?
Good. Very good.
Good, I'm glad to hear it.
It might snow though.
It did snow yesterday.
Yeah, it did a little bit.
I was driving home from work, it was like being in Star Wars. It was ridiculous. It was like, couldn't see where I was going. It was proper snowing. But no, yeah, apparently it's going to snow tonight.
Oh,
so.
Exciting.
No, it's not exciting. I've got to drive to work tomorrow morning.
Well, me too.
Being an adult, you realise you're an adult when you realise you don't like snow anymore. That's what adulting is.
Snow at the weekend's fine.
Yeah, snow at the weekend's fine.
We'll come around and have a snowball fight if we have.
Oh, let's do it. I'll come to yours. You've got kids. It'd be a bit weird if you came here and me and you just had one.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll come to yours. We'll have a snowball fight. Have you watched anything at the top of the stream?
I have finished Lock and Key.
Have you? Thoughts?
Yep. On the whole, I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
It still never completely hooked me all the way through, but I did want to see it through to the end. And I thought the second half of it was a lot stronger than the first half.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I thought the last episode was a bit heavy-handed. Like shall I say twist? Is it a twist? The reveal for the last 10 minutes. But it was fine. I'm intrigued to see.
I really enjoyed it. It's been renewed, so I'm looking forward to watching the second season of that.
I almost feel like they were holding back a bit with some of the keys. There's a lot more they could have done with
I said to my brother yesterday, if they really let that go and really run with it, it could be a really, really good show.
Sure.
Because you've got potential to do anything there.
Yeah.
You're right, they did seem to hold back on it. And I think maybe it's because you're introducing your world in your first season.
Yeah, I think so.
And your characters, so just go batshit crazy with it in the next one. Anything else? I'm asking you because I haven't really watched anything this week.
I did watch something else a bit weird.
Oh, okay.
So there's some really odd stuff on Netflix that you just never would think.
Couldn't agree more.
And I can't even remember how I spotted this. But now I remember, when I was, I don't know, teenage year, whatever. You're scrolling through satellite TV. We used to have satellite TV, yeah. And after a certain time, either in the early hours of the morning or late at night, when some of the channels finished.
You're going to tell me you found Eurotrash on Netflix?
No. They finished broadcasting.
And True Diaries?
No. The Fireplace.
What's the Fireplace?
The Fireplace channel.
What's that?
So it's just a fireplace burning wood.
Like a screensaver?
Yeah. That's on Netflix.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Is it really?
Yep. In fact, there's more than one. There's 3 seasons of it.
What are you talking about?
So
you lost your mind?
Fireplace for your home.
Oh, he's showing it me on the screen.
You can watch it on Netflix.
Play it. I want to see what it does. So it's just fills your screen with a fireplace.
Yeah, but this is the Birchwood edition. Do you want to read? Shall I tell you the synopsis?
Yes, please.
For the first time in 4K Ultra HD, everyone's favourite Yuletide fireplace snaps and crackles in crystal clear, high-def holiday warmth.
So it's a Christmas thing. Oh, that's quite therapeutic, actually.
Can you hear the fire?
I can hear the fire.
That's it. It's rated all, so suitable for all. That's good to know.
So Santa's not going to fall down the chimney and burn his ass.
No, well, so if you want to recreate...
Why is it a Christmas thing?
Well, I don't think... I don't know if it is specifically.
It says it in that description.
So you've got Classic Edition as well.
I love a classic fire. I don't like these modern fires.
And then, the original season, it's got 3 separate episodes. 3 episodes.
How long are the episodes?
1 hour each.
This feels like some sort of fever dream. How weird.
So the episodes in season 1 are... Episode 1 is the crackling Yule log fireplace. This edition includes a crackling Yule log set to holiday favourites such as Joy to the World and We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
Oh no.
Episode 2 is just crackling fireplace. So it's the same thing without the Christmas tunes.
Because it's not Christmas.
Episode 3 is the fireplace again with non-Christmas music.
Different music but not Christmas music.
And a tasteful accompaniment of music to set the right ambience.
Exciting.
So, Netflix and chill, put the fireplace on.
Wow.
There you go.
I'm amazed that that's on there.
Hey, on your new TV, that would look lovely.
It would look lovely on my new TV. I might go downstairs and try it in a bit.
We'll do that.
We'll do it after we finish.
So yeah,
recording.
I didn't sit and watch it, but I noticed it was there and I thought that's really weird.
That is
I've
so
got to
weird.
mention that.
That is really weird.
I
We'll
will-
review one next week. Just watch it for an hour and see what you thought.
Don't. If anyone suggests that goes on the list, I am vetoing. I'm not sitting and watching a fireplace
Maybe
for
we'll
an
do
hour.
a mini episode of that for our Patreons.
What would
That's
the
the sort
twist
of
be at
quality
the end?
content you get on your Patreon.
I don't. Do you think it just goes on and on, or does it fade out, or does it actually burn
I
out?
wonder if it's a loop or if it's a whole fire for an hour.
Yeah.
Or does it just loop after like 10 minutes? Or you're going to have to watch it and let me know.
No,
Please.
I'm not watching it.
Have you watched any actual content on Netflix this week?
No, just like
Other
I
than
say,
Lock and Key?
No,
I haven't.
No, because
I haven't watched
we've
much
been a
at
bit
all.
out of sync, haven't we? So again,
Yeah.
because we recorded late last week. We're recording quite early this week, so it's only actually 4 days or 5 days since
5 days since we last recorded.
Yeah, so
So we're not a chance.
that's pretty much it.
I'm lying. I watched Better Call Saul.
Oh yeah.
They released it really weirdly. So the season, as you said last week, the season started in America, but it goes weekly, so it has to come weekly over here. But they released episode 1 on Monday, episode 2 on Tuesday, and then from now on they're going to be every Tuesday.
I just kind of presumed that it. I did notice that. I just presumed it was on 2 consecutive nights in the
Either that
States,
or
then.
it was a double episode in the States, and they didn't want to do that over here. I'm not sure, but I watched the first one, but I haven't watched the second one yet.
Good.
But yeah, it was good.
I still need to finish. I think I'm halfway through the season before, so I need to finish that first.
I like the story they're telling in black and white at the beginning of every episode.
So
really exciting.
The present day
Present day
story.
Saul Goodman.
So the post
That goes
Breaking Bad stuff.
That goes on for a lot longer in this first episode
Oh,
than
right,
it ever
okay.
has done before.
Well, that's
Probably
interesting.
like 15 minutes of the episode. Other than that, I've not really watched a lot
No.
this week. I've had a busy week, a weird week. Been out a few times.
Yeah. Good.
I've got a little bit of Netflix news.
Go for it.
The Movies That Made Us
Oh yeah.
has been renewed for season 2
Oh,
today.
brilliant. I love
They
that
announced
show.
it today. They haven't announced what films are coming, but they just said today that they've received a renewal notice from
Excellent.
Netflix, so that's quite exciting.
Good.
That's the only thing I've seen.
Nice.
So it's pretty quiet on Netflix.
That's good news. I really like that
The
show.
old Netflix at the minute. Yeah, it was really good. I don't think I ended up watching them all. I think I only watched 2.
Yeah, well, I
Three.
watched them all in the end.
Did you?
It was good. Yeah, very good.
We have talked about it before.
Yeah. I can't remember what episode, so you'll have to go and find out.
No, I have no idea. Probably when it came out the first time.
We need like a archivist
We do. Does anybody want to be our bottom of the stream historian?
who can put all this stuff
What
together.
do they call it? Captain's log. Somebody needs to make a captain's log. Anything else?
I've got a game.
Yes. We've not done one of these for ages.
No, it's been a little while.
Missed your games.
So I have put something together.
Okay, cool.
So this week we are watching The Super.
Yep.
And because it's a film about superheroes, I've got a game about
It's a
superheroes.
film about superheroes.
Yeah, it is.
It's not.
I watched a film about superheroes.
Well, then you've watched the wrong film. One of us has watched the wrong film.
I watched The Super with it's got Rainn Wilson and Ellen Page in.
Yeah, you watched the wrong film.
Seriously.
Yeah. I know you didn't. You watched the one with Val Kilmer.
Yeah, I did. Sorry. I just
That would be
Wondered
funny
how-
though if we did that one.
how much I could scare you.
It'd be amazing we'd talk about a film, but we're both talking about different films.
That would be quite
really funny.
We might actually make some sense.
After the last couple of weeks, yeah.
Well, anyway,
Anyway,
I've got a quiz about superheroes.
that's fine.
So the film is called The Super.
It is.
So that's what we're going to do.
It's called The Super and
Okay,
there's no superheroes in it. It's stupid.
Yeah. So
Bottom of the stream, instantly.
I have got 5. I am putting in inverted commas superheroes.
Okay.
They're not all real.
Right.
I want you to tell me superhero or super zero.
Nice.
Okay?
Yep.
Easy. Usual rules apply. So let's go first with Furball.
Furball?
Yeah.
As in what a cat throws up?
Yeah, and Furball's superpower is to cough up balls of matted hair and projectile spit them at their enemy.
I don't think that's real.
Really?
Yeah.
You're correct. I thought I'd get you with that one.
Have you been making these up while sitting with your cats?
I made that one up earlier this afternoon. I don't think there was a cat in the vicinity. I may have been driving. Anyway.
That says more about you than it should.
1-0 to you. Well done.
It's a good name for a superhero, though.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about
the
superpower,
yeah.
but the superhero name's quite good. Isn't it the name of the cat in Pets?
I don't know.
I think it might be.
Okay, good start for you.
Thanks.
Next one is Hindsight Lad.
Hindsight Lad?
Yeah.
No, I'm not having that. Hindsight's a good name for a superhero, but Hindsight Lad sounds ridiculous. No, false.
I'm afraid it is true.
Really?
He is a Marvel superhero.
Really?
His
He's
power...
called Hindsight Lad?
Yeah. His power to point out the errors and decisions of his teammates post their superhero mission.
He sounds like a...
Yeah, he sounds like a proper wanker.
Yeah.
So,
Hindsight is a much better name than Hindsight Lad.
Yeah, I presume he was an old, like, golden age character. Yeah, that's
awful.
a terrible name,
That's
isn't
a
it?
terrible name.
1-1, right. Okay. Next, we will go with Arm Fall Off Boy.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Do you want to know his superhero
Yes, please.
talent? So he's got detachable limbs.
Yeah.
And he uses them as weapons.
I can see that being real.
So, like, Arm Fall Off Boy is going to beat you with his arm.
Because his arm's falling off.
Yeah. Or his leg.
I don't know why that's really making me laugh.
It's a terrible name.
Yes, real.
It is real. Arm
He
Fall
can't
Off
use his
Boy.
leg. His arms fell off, not his legs. Or does he hold...
All his limbs are detachable.
So he's not just arm fall off boy,
No.
he's limb fall off boy.
Yeah.
But he's called arm fall off boy.
Yep.
He's real.
Yep.
Shit name.
It's a DC Comics.
It had
character.
to be DC, didn't it?
Okay, yeah, 2-1 to you.
Arm fall off. That's really made me chuckle.
Okay. How many's that? 3. Right, next one. Captain Velvet. So his skin is made of velvet, and his superhero... Well, that is his superhero power. He can soften the blow, absorb punishment. He can save people by softening the fall.
Bullshit.
Captain Velvet.
No way. That's who you think you are. That's your superhero name. That's your superhero alter ego. I've seen that jacket.
You're right. And do you know what? The reason I came up with that is because on a night out last week, someone called me Captain Velvet.
Really? Because you
I
had your
was
velvet
really
jacket.
insulted. No, I had a velvety jumper on.
Did you get really offended?
Yeah, a little bit.
You love velvet though.
Yeah.
I think that's a great name for you. I think you need to own it and embrace
Captain
it.
Velvet.
Captain Velvet.
I'm going to change my business cards.
I'm going to change the name of the
I haven't
podcast.
got any business
Bottom of
cards.
the stream of Adam and Captain Velvet. That's well sticking. I'm sorry. I'm putting that on Twitter.
Well, that's 3-1 to you.
I've won.
Yeah, well, I've got one more.
Go on.
Should we do it just for fun?
I'm quite good at your games.
Dog welder.
Now, let me guess what Dog Welder's superpower is.
Yeah.
Does Dog Welder weld dogs together? Or is he a dog that can do welding?
Oh, what do you think?
I think he's a man, an evil genius that can weld dogs into super dogs.
It's darker than that.
Oh, really?
So, Dog welder has a fetish for welding dogs to people.
What? Welding dogs to people?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where?
As like punishment. That's what he does to
I'm
people.
going to weld a dog to you?
Like to your face. He was a
I hope
welder.
you've not made this up.
No, honestly, Google him.
Is he real?
Yeah, dog welder.
Wow.
He goes around welding dogs to people's faces.
No.
Yeah, it's true.
You've shocked
Let
me.
me have a look and see if I can
was
find him.
absolutely loving that game, but that is so dark.
It's really bad, isn't it?
Imagine having a dog welded to your face.
I know.
Whose comic is he? Is he Marvel?
DC.
That had to be DC. Is he friends with Arm Fall Off Boy?
Look, there he is, welding a dog to someone.
Oh my god, he actually is welding a dog to somebody. Save that picture, I'll tweet that out.
Okay. Can I find? Let me see. Dog welder spent his time trapping and killing dogs in alleyways.
course he did.
And
Is that it?
he was a member of Section 8, whatever that is.
Don't know.
Abilities. Do you want to know his abilities?
Yep.
Dog welding.
I can't even do this tonight.
We
We're going to have to end this episode here.
Do you want to know his weaknesses?
Yeah.
Cats.
Cats
His
smelting.
abilities are dog welding. His weaknesses, according to the DC database, his weaknesses has a strong compulsion to weld dogs to people's faces.
That's not a weakness. That's his actual job.
He cannot speak, though. He is mute. Well, it
Why?
says he cannot speak through conventional means, so I don't know how he is speaking.
DC's fucking mental, isn't it?
Weapons.
Welding gun.
Dogs.
I can't do this. Stop talking. Oh, my sides are hurting.
Yeah.
Dog welder.
Yeah. Dog welder.
I'm not having that.
You
as
never
mine
said if he was real or not.
You told me it was before.
Yeah, well, it was irrelevant.
It was
You would
irrelevant,
anyway.
I already won.
Dog welder. Check him out.
Thanks, Captain Velvet.
No probs.
Right, that's a really long intro. Shall we get into talking about this film?
Sure,
We said we
let's
wanted to
do
do
it.
a bit of a shorter episode. this
Okay.
week. So this week we watched a film called The Super. The Super is from 2017. It's a 15. It runs for exactly an hour and a half, and it's currently rated at 6.0 on IMDb. We're having a lot of sixes this season.
Yeah.
Stars a guy called Patrick John Fluger, as plays a character called Phil, who you will know is a bit of a TV actor. He was in
I thought I recognised him, but I couldn't place
he
him.
was in Chicago PD.
I will have seen a lot of adverts and stuff for that.
Yeah, he's in the 4400. He was in quite a few episodes of that, which was
Yeah.
around a few years ago.
Yeah.
Also stars for the second week in a row. We've got quite a big named actor in one of our films.
Sure.
So this film stars Val Kilmer.
Yeah, where's he been?
Yeah, he's been really ill.
Yeah, I know.
He's been-
Yeah. He was a huge star in the 90s and
So
start of the
he
2000s.
plays a character called Walter. You'll know him from things like Top Gun,
Batman.
Batman Forever, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, The Doors, Heat, The Saint, and The Snowman. Have you seen The
I
Snowman?
haven't seen The Snowman, no.
The
I'll tell you, you're
Snowman-
not talking about the walking in the air one,
No.
are you? No.
The Snowman has the distinct honour of being the very worst film I've ever seen.
Okay.
It is
It's Fassbender, isn't it?
It's Michael Fassbender,
Yeah.
who is also in one of the second or third worst films I've ever seen, which was Assassin's Creed. But yeah, The Snowman is without a doubt the worst film I've ever seen.
Okay.
It's not even close. If I could have given it 0 stars on IMDb, I would have. It's that bad. It's not finished. There's great big chunks of the film that are just not there.
Oh, it's one of
So
those,
it's
is it?
completely
That's
nonsense.
interesting.
It's completely nonsensical.
Because it's like a really well-renowned book, isn't it?
Yeah. Coincidentally as well, it's just appeared on Netflix.
Oh, has
If
it?
you do want to watch it, it is on there, but don't watch it.
Right, okay.
You're wasting your time and it makes no sense. But yeah, so Val Kilmer's in the worst film I've ever seen. Directed by a guy called Stephen Rick, who is German. I couldn't really find out much more about him than that.
Okay.
Hasn't directed many other things. Directed a lot of German stuff, but nothing more. Nothing that you would have heard of, I don't think. But was written by John J. McLaughlin. Do you know that name?
I do not, should I?
He wrote Black Swan.
Oh,
Have you seen
that's
Black Swan?
yeah, I have. It's a great film.
Yeah.
Very dark
Dark and creepy.
and
Even I've seen Black Swan.
yeah, very broody.
Yeah, he wrote that. It's the same guy.
Yeah.
I say he wrote it. If you look on IMDb for Black Swan writers, there's about 6 of them.
Oh, okay.
And
He
he's
was
at the
a
bottom of the
writer.
list.
Right, okay.
But he's credited for it. I think if the writing had won an Oscar, he would have got one. So
So the only thing I have to add really is that I noticed this film was produced by Dick Wolf. And Dick Wolf, as well as
is he
having
one of your superheroes?
an amazing name,
Yeah.
is responsible for producing the TV show Law and Order,
Oh right, yeah.
which ran for like
Ever.
20 years
Yeah.
and then has like 4 spin-offs which also ran for 10, 15 years. And I'm sure made him an absolute shit ton of money.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
And this comes from his production studios, which I think is called Wolf Films, unfortunately, not
Dick Films.
Dick Films.
That's a whole different studio.
Yeah.
I imagine when he gets letters and stuff, it will say Wolf Dick. I don't know why I find that funny. I'm in a really weird mood tonight. I don't know if you've noticed. I can't stop giggling and stuff. I don't know
Wolf's
why.
a dog, isn't it?
Yeah. Dog welder would get well involved in that. You can't have a wolf welded to your head. You'd just fall over.
You
Too
would
heavy.
just fall over.
Well heavy.
Well, it's like if someone came and like welded Scooby-Doo to your face, You're going down,
He's a big,
aren't you?
Doberman, isn't
Yeah,
he?
it's like Great Dane.
Great Dane.
Yeah.
Wow. What are we talking about?
Dog welder.
Dog welder.
The best superhero.
I can't do this. Right, let's calm down.
Focus.
Let's concentrate on this horror film that we've watched. This film starts with some, I think they're library footage shots of New York.
Yes.
Because they're like really well shot, like drone helicopter shots of New York City.
Yeah.
And there, for some reason, I presume this film's set in New York. It never tells you that, really.
No, it is. Yeah, but it is clearly, filmed
is.
in and around.
Yeah. You kind of zoom all the way through the city and you end up at this like apartment building.
Yep.
And then you go through that and you end up at the furnace of this apartment building.
Yeah, and can I just say, I'm really happy to see that the furnace from Home Alone is still getting work because that's what it reminded me of straight away.
Bigger brother, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Bigger furnace. But did you notice how awful the CGI fire was?
Yes.
Inside it?
Yeah.
So it kind of opens up this furnace and you get a fire shot. And it's so bad.
You know what they should have done? Should just put a TV inside the furnace, put the fireplace channel on.
Why did they not just do that? Or what they also could have done
is the ideas.
Lit a real fire.
True.
It seems easier than CGIing a fire. What do I know about making films? But
because fire is a difficult thing to realistically recreate.
Yeah, nobody's ever been able to really create it. So why not just set a fire?
Yeah.
There's all these stunts that go on. It should be easy.
I've been doing it since
Unless it doesn't film well. I don't know.
Well, who knows?
Who knows? Anyway, it looks shit. And you kind of get the camera then kind of CGIs through all the vents and you end up in this corridor.
Yep.
And this lady's going into her apartment because she obviously lives there. And the building manager approaches her.
He does. Mr. Johnson.
Yes. Who we meet quite a lot in this film. He's
sort of limping around, isn't he?
Yeah. And he tells this lady that they need to change the locks on her apartment. Will she be in tomorrow? I think basically just introducing him to who he is. And
yeah, so he says that a master key ring has gone missing. So they need to change all the locks.
All the locks on that floor.
Yeah.
She agrees and she goes inside her apartment and that's the end of that kind of exchange with her. But it turns out then that she's got a presumably disabled brother.
No, it's a husband.
Is it a husband?
Well, there was a picture on the bed of them. Well, it could have been. I just presumed it was a husband. There's a picture of the bed with them sort of.
Maybe it was then. I'll let you off.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter because... Right, well, you'll find out why it doesn't matter.
So he's bedridden.
Yeah,
he is
quite heavily disabled.
Yeah.
He's called Brad. And he sees something... She kind of leaves him to it. She sort of greets him.
She comes in to sort of feed him some food,
make
doesn't
sure
he?
He's all right.
And he's sort of focused behind her on the wardrobe, on the closet, for our American listeners.
Yeah.
Behind him.
She plays some music on a record player in his room and he kind of starts freaking out because he can see something.
Yeah, she's gone back out the room.
And because she goes out and she's watching, like, she's doing some, I think she's a teacher because she's marking some papers. She's
grading papers.
She's grading papers and she's got like a nanny cam screen.
Yeah.
Like a baby monitor almost. And she kind of glances up at it and there's like a figure standing over his bed.
Yeah, and I will say this for this film, we'll talk about what we thought of it, but there are a few occasions on it, to be fair to it, where it did make me jump.
Yeah.
And I think this was one of the first ones. So yeah, you see the shadow in his room through the baby cam, like you say.
Yeah. So she goes in to investigate, and when she gets there, there's obviously nobody there.
No.
He's got some keys in his hand.
He has got so it is the big
master keys that we're missing.
Big bunch of keys.
And he starts screaming at her to get out.
Yeah.
Which she seems really shocked by. I don't know if he's like not spoken for years, but so she does, and she gets out, and then she kind of hears this commotion going on, and she sees these flashing like shadowy creatures coming after, not creatures, like shadowy images.
Yeah.
Following her around.
And she basically gets dragged to the floor.
Yeah, she's kind of standing in the hallway,
away.
Isn't she? And this pencil rolls to her feet.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she gets dragged backwards down the hallway. But she manages to get away, and
she sort of limps back down the corridor
to where she started from, and she locks herself in her bedroom, in Brad's bedroom.
But she's got a pencil in her leg.
Yeah.
So these are like the red pencils which she's been marking the papers with.
Yeah.
And it is quite deeply embedded into her thigh, basically.
Like really stuck in there. Brad's dead now.
Yeah.
He's like been gutted and
so she's shut herself back in the bedroom. Yeah. He is he's not coming back.
Yeah. No, very much not. So she opens the window, she starts screaming out of this window for like help, but she's quite high up.
Yeah.
And nobody can really hear her.
You kind of get the hint that, is she going to jump?
Yeah. And then the next time you see her, the door opens and she's not standing at the window anymore.
Yeah, the
window's
open.
Maybe she did jump.
Yeah.
But she's actually lying under the bed. then she kind of thinks that the coast's clear, or I got the impression
the door shuts again
because the door shuts again. So she starts crawling out. Yeah, she starts crawling out from under the bed, and she gets a pencil in her hand.
She does.
Like straight through her hand, and then you hear like a scream, and then suddenly she's got one in her eye as well.
One in each eye.
One in each eye. Was there one in each eye?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Didn't spot that. And so she dies, and we go straight into the title card.
But that took I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was a good opening.
I'm already surprised.
Yeah.
It was
for you get this quite a lot in horror films, like scenes that don't really
it was
relate to the rest of the film.
It was ominous.
Yeah.
It was good atmosphere. Like I say, there's a couple of jumps in there, and it wasn't what I was expecting. I thought it was a strong pre-credit sequence. I say pre-credit sequence, but it was like nearly 15 minutes long.
Yeah, it was quite a long way.
And this film's only an hour and a half long.
Yeah. It happens quite a lot in horror films where you get introduced to two characters and they die straight away. It's a bit like Scream, isn't it? That's what Scream parodied was happening. Yeah, so we cut out of the title card, which is just the name of the film. There's nothing special about it. And you meet Phil and his family, who are arriving at this apartment building.
So he has 2 daughters.
Yes, he does.
Well, they all arrive together.
Yeah, they all arrive together. So Phil and his 2 daughters. He's there for a job interview, isn't he? So
he's so it turns out he's an ex-cop.
Yeah.
This quickly comes out in the interview because he's talking to Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
Who sort of says, "Oh yeah, you're really, really impressed with your resume." So his 2 daughters are Violet and Rose.
Yeah. And Mr. Johnson asks him why he left the police force, and he explains it's because his wife died, and he says he doesn't want to leave his kids without a parent, so he couldn't be a policeman anymore.
And they say that he heard about the job because one of his daughters, his eldest daughter's teacher lived in the building.
Yeah, or lives in the building.
Yeah.
And so he pretty much gets offered the job there and then, doesn't he?
Yeah, they have a little tour, don't they?
Yeah, Johnson starts taking him on this guided tour around the basements and where he's going to be working.
And he says, we've got some accommodation for you.
Yeah.
And they basically just gives him a grotty
basement
cupboard room.
Basically. Yeah, there's nothing in it.
Like the mop's still in the corner. Yeah. There's not even a bed or a mattress in there.
There's nothing in there.
And Phil's like, oh yeah, brilliant. We'll all live in here.
He says we'll live here as long as it's only temporary.
Yeah.
But they're still living in it at the end. So at this point, you notice that the younger girl of the 2, because he left the kids in the lobby.
Yep.
And one of them, the younger one, wanders off.
Rose.
And then the older one kind of notices. So she goes to try and find out where she's gone.
Yeah.
But she gets distracted halfway down the first staircase by a lad who is there and he's smoking.
Yeah.
So she's only like 14. But she bums a fag off him. That's the most British thing I've ever seen.
Cigarette.
Bums a fag means something completely different over here than it does in America.
Yeah, it really does.
She borrows a cigarette off him. Wow. Don't know if I can leave that in, but I'm going to.
You're going to get questions about that one.
So she
his name is Vondell.
Because
he will be a recurring character.
Yeah, she kind of forgets that her sister's not there anymore and has a cigarette with him instead. And then we follow Rose down the stairs a little bit further and she meets up with this creepy old janitor guy who kind of lives in the basement. And this is Val Kilmer.
And his character is called Walter.
And he is not looking good.
No, so he is... he's got his kind of little desk area down there, hasn't he? With lots of little photos and candles. And he's kind of going for a... What would you say? Like Eastern European kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, like an immigrant, New York immigrant type, isn't he?
So like Russian, Romanian,
that kind of
part of the world.
Yeah. So at this point, Phil realizes that his daughter's not there anymore. So he goes to try and find them. The lady in the reception says that she saw a 14. She hasn't seen a 7-year-old.
Yeah,
but she did see a 14-year-old.
Saw the elder one go
walking down the stairs. So he follows her down there, and he catches Violet smoking with this lad, Vondell, and he doesn't freak out as much as you would think he does.
No, it's kind of like a.
He kind of knew what he was.
So she's in. So the older daughter Violet is clearly going through these teenage years, and this is a latest in in this. They've got an ongoing battle, haven't they? Basically, with dad and daughter.
They're not getting on.
Yeah.
Rose appears back as well, and she says to Phil, I don't like it here, Daddy.
Yeah, and he says, I've got a bad feeling about
this place. But he doesn't care because he moves them in anyway. Then we cut back to Walter, and he's doing some. I've written creepy chanting.
I've put voodoo shit.
Yeah. So he was kind of the camera was like above him and he was looking up into it. And
it's just like burning some incense and
there was loads of
rubbing
candles
beads
around and rubbing his rosary beads and chanting. There's no other way to describe it. It cuts away to another one of the apartments, and there's a little old lady who lives on her own.
Yes.
And is there a cat? There's a cat. No, it's a dog.
It's a little dog.
It's a dog.
Yep.
Got it right. It's not welded to anybody's face.
Yet.
And she starts to hear some freaky noises as well.
Yeah, this is like... Sounds like glasses are smashing and things like that.
It's another scene, isn't it? And we don't need to go into what happens, but eventually she gets stabbed in the back.
By an unseen
assailant. Good word.
Thanks. Because you don't see him. Oh, you meant assailant.
I meant assailant,
oh, right.
not unseen. And then it cuts back briefly to show the furnace again. So it's as if this furnace is like in control. There's nothing they were trying to show.
Sentient furnace.
Sentient furnace, yes. A bit like in The Shining. Book.
And then, so it cuts around a little bit here. So you see Walter trying to get into the family's room. Yeah,
this is the point where they move into the room, isn't
it?
And Walter's trying to get in. And Phil's there, and he's like, and Walter's like, I thought the room's empty.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys were in here. Yeah. So that sort of thing. Right, I'm going to point this out now, because before I forget, because I've just seen it in my notes.
Go for it.
Why is everyone in this film dubbed?
There's a really bad scene with Violet that she's so badly dubbed. I really was like, what the fuck?
With their own voices?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I'm glad you noticed that, because I noticed it later on.
There's a couple of times, and it's really out.
Like, it's a long way out.
Really badly synced.
Yeah.
And I know we've seen a few films where, like The Lazarus Effect last season springs to mind, where, and you mentioned it earlier with The Snowman, where a film just is released and it is clearly not finished.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't quite feel like it's that bad in terms of like how it's put together and the story and the editing, in terms of how it looks, but the sound it's way out. Awful. It is clearly a dubbed film.
Yeah, it is. Not all of it.
Like they've re-recorded all their dialogue.
Yeah.
And it doesn't match.
No. I'm glad you noticed that, because I thought I was going mad.
It's really off-putting.
Yeah, it was. I didn't notice it here.
But it's Val Kilmer. It sounds like Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
So I believe he has redubbed the part. Everyone's redubbed the part.
Unless... I don't know, unless the filming on
I can't remember
the audio on set was bad.
Yeah, I can't remember ever seeing that before.
No, I can't. No,
and there are a few occasions where it's
there's one scene
really
in particular
out
with Violet where it's miles out.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah, I good. I'm glad it wasn't just me.
No, it wasn't just it's not your TV. You were right. At this point, we meet another guy who is also a super. Who they sound like superheroes. They're like superintendents, aren't they? Is that what they call them?
Yeah. Maintenance guys, aren't they?
Maintenance janitors, yeah. This guy's called Julio.
He was my favourite character.
He was really good.
He was a player.
Yeah, he was. And they're kind of out on the street chucking away some furniture and things.
Yeah, so basically they don't know it, but they are throwing away all the crap out of the couple's room that we saw in the pre-credit scene.
Yeah, because there's loads of pencils in one of the bags, isn't there? In all this rubbish, there's some furniture on the street.
Yeah.
And Brad, that is the dead guy. Phil hasn't got any furniture. So that's quite
and Julio says, look, we chuck stuff out all the time. If there's anything there you can make use of, you take it.
Feel free to use it.
Yeah.
So he takes like a table and chairs in this first bit, doesn't he? So they go to bed that night, and they're all three of them are lying on sleeping bags on the floor.
Yeah.
And Phil wakes up at 3. It's exactly 3 a.m. because the clock on the wall said 3 a.m. And he notices that Rose is not in her bed.
Yeah, the door to the flat is just open, wide open.
Yeah, so she's missing. So he goes around looking for her around the downstairs area, and he finds her just kind of standing at this furnace, just looking into it. Must have been red hot. That furnace is heating that whole building.
Yeah, she's
standing at the door of it. She must have been.
And she says, I'm just looking into the flames. And at this point, I'm like, this is clearly a ridiculous film.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because I've still got a bit of giving a credit to its pre-title sequence. Yeah. And I'm like, surely this isn't trying to convince me that this is a demon furnace. Because that's definitely the agenda it's pushing so far.
Yeah, it's the vibe they went for early doors.
Yeah.
Definitely. It doesn't go anywhere, but it's the vibe it went for early doors. So that's kind of the end of that, and then the next day...
Yeah, that's basically their first day on the job,
first day on the job. And the next day, Phil meets up with Walter again, and Walter says to him, how's Rose? And Phil doesn't really like the fact that he knows who Rose... Because Walter's like to his daughter. Creepy as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Phil took an instant dislike to him. Yeah. Everybody takes an instant dislike to him. And he didn't like the fact that he knew Rose's name because it meant that he'd obviously spoken to Rose at some point. Phil and Julio go up to the old lady's apartment that we met earlier.
Johnson says, no one's heard from her. Can you just go the dogs? I think he says the dog's barking and it's annoying everyone else. Can you go and see what's going on?
Yeah. So they go up into their apartment, and she's not there.
No.
But the dog is.
Yeah.
Was the dog in a cage?
Yeah, it was in a little
dog in the cage.
A little cage.
The person whoever stabbed them, obviously.
So Phil takes it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we can't leave it here. Well, you can't leave a dog on its own, can you? So he
takes it and gives it to Rose.
Basically they adopt the dog in lieu of finding this old lady.
Yeah. So he gives it to Rose as a gift, doesn't he? And he's also managed to get a bed from somewhere, presumably from the same apartment that he got the last one from. And he gives that to Rose as well.
Yeah, which makes Violet really angry.
Violet kicks off.
Because she's like, why you
keep giving
basically,
stuff to
you
Rose.
love her more than me. Yeah. Why does she get it first? All this.
Yeah.
And she runs off, and I think she gets in a lift. And this is where you see the CCTV sort of dotted around. But it's not really made clear. So Walter is sitting watching these CCTV cameras. It's not really sure if it's not made clear if it's something he has just done off his own back or if he's the official security type guy for the building.
Yeah, it's not really made clear. I don't think that's his job.
No, I don't think it is. But he's also watching Vondel.
Yes,
who's somewhere else in the building, sort of bouncing a ball against the wall.
Yeah, and we cut to Vondel at that point, then, don't we? And he starts hearing like this music playing. It's like, is it like music box music?
Yeah, it's basically, it's the sort of jewelry box, ballerina type music, isn't it?
I'm trying to remember what happened. There was somebody at the door in his apartment. Is that now?
Yeah, he goes to answer the door.
He goes to answer the door because his mum's busy.
Yeah.
And he says, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
And then he kind of gets pulled backwards down the corridor.
Yeah. So he's recognised whoever it is.
Yeah, whoever's doing it.
But at the same time, because Violet's had this argument with Phil, she has stormed off and she's ended up in the laundry room.
Yeah.
And she meets Beverly, who is the lady we saw briefly in the lobby earlier.
Yeah.
So you have, again, it's not very well done, but they are trying to build a bit of tension by sort of having the Vondel situation and then also some creepy music and going on while they're doing the laundry, and it's like, oh, where's the killer going next, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've basically called it a creep off. So it's like two
alternating scenes at the same time.
And it's like, who's going to end up in trouble here?
And it was Vondel.
It was.
In the next scene, there's cops in the building, and they show up because obviously Vondel's been reported missing by his mum.
Yeah.
And Phil goes and tells Violet that Vondel's got missing to see if she knows anything.
Yeah. Beverly's done a run.
Yeah.
She's done it. She's just literally been out running.
Yeah.
She comes back in and she just goes, "I've been for a run." It just stuck out because it was really badly written. Just out of nowhere. And Phil kind of, obviously, he's really suspicious about Walter at this point.
Yeah.
And he asks Julio sort of, what's this guy's deal?
Yeah, what's going on
He's
with
weird.
this guy?
What's going on?
Yeah.
And Julio kind of says, well, actually, I think the guy's harmless, but I do think the building's haunted.
Yes. Walter kind of meets up with Rose again at this point as well, doesn't he?
They just keep bumping into each other.
Yeah, just randomly bumping into each other down in the basements. And he kind of freaks her out because he starts chanting at her.
Yeah.
And he says, "Show me where he is."
Yeah. He says, "Show me where Vondel is."
Yeah. So.
And she's like, "What are you
talking about?" It's like, "You're a creepy weird old man." So she kind of runs off, and she runs into Phil, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And he goes after Walter, and he's like, "Never go near my kids again."
Yeah.
I'm not going to take them away from this creepy man. I'm just going to warn the creepy man not to go near them again.
And then the next bit, this is another bit that made me jump. So we cut and it's back at night.
Yeah.
And Phil's started having dreams.
Yes.
I've written Luke, and I don't know why I've written Luke.
That's something I do. That's not your deal.
And he wakes up, and this time he sees the fridge door is open.
Yeah.
And he thinks it's Violet.
Yeah.
Just raiding for snacks. And the door slowly shuts, and it's Vondel.
Yeah.
And his face is all
melty.
manky.
Yeah, manky.
And that made me jump as well.
And he's crawling along the floor towards Phil's bed.
Yeah.
Or sleeping bag.
But it's just a dream.
It's just a dream, and he wakes up.
Well, he wakes up and Rose is by his bed, which
Yeah.
was also creepy.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that in real life because I have several times, having 2 young children, woken up in the middle of the night and one of my kids is literally stood inches away from my face.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, that would freak me out.
It's just,
Do you scream?
I've jumped before. Yeah. What do you want? And usually it's, can I put my socks on?
I know which one you're talking about now.
Some requests like that at 3:00 in the morning. And anyway, Rose is there and she says, "I've just seen Mummy,"
Yes, she does say
which is
exactly
creepy.
that.
And there was a good creep factor about this.
Yeah, it's creepy all the way through.
Not consistently,
No,
but it's got some good moments.
Yeah. Yeah, she says, "I've just had a dream about Mummy. I've seen her standing in a garden." There's this room, isn't there, where Johnson keeps coming in and out of?
Yeah,
but he
and
doesn't let anybody in.
And no one else seems to have a key to it.
Nobody else is allowed in there, and it's just called mechanical room,
Yeah.
which is not a thing, I don't think.
No, it's really not.
I was looking at it thinking, mechanical room? What's in there? And Phil tries to get in to see what's going on, but just as he's going in, Johnson comes out. And
Yeah, John's like, you never need to go in there.
You don't need to go in there. It's not part of your
You
job.
don't need mechanical.
You don't need to be in the mechanical room. You're not mechanical.
Julio's having a party
Yes, it is.
on the roof.
On the roof. We have a quick scene of Walter again before that.
Oh, do we?
And he's surrounded by loads of candles again, and he's got loads of news cuttings about people in New York being missing.
Yeah.
Just surrounding him, and then that cuts away. That's literally all it is. And yeah, Julio's having a party. It's somebody's birthday.
I think it's Julio's.
Is it Julio's
Yeah,
birthday?
I think
Okay, so and Phil and Violet decide they're going.
And Rose.
Rose goes, but she's like, as soon as
She's
they
there
get
at
there,
the-
she disappears.
Yeah, she's at the start, and then she goes up with them.
Feels like Rose is here somewhere, but
She's like, oh, she's wandered off because she's always wandering off.
yeah. But while they're at this party, Walter decides he needs to get into their room again.
Yep.
He does. He gets in, he breaks in, and he goes over to Rose's bed. And was it just like, he put some crap in Rose's bed?
It was basically it was a concoction that it was
like
leaves
leaves
and
and
dried
mud
dried flowers
Yeah.
and
he just spreads it all out all over Rose's
all
bed.
over the mattress. Yeah.
Which is, again, really weird. But
So he's clearly
creepy.
interested in her for
Yeah,
some
he's
reason.
got some sort of agenda with Rose. Hasn't
Yeah.
he? When she's only like 6.
Yeah.
She's not like there's no reason for this guy to be so obsessed with her. But they come back and he's still in the room. So
That was unnecessary
yeah, agreed.
because it was like they come back, so he hides. So you think, oh, there's going to be a suspenseful scene here about are they going to find him?
Yeah.
No.
No, there wasn't, because they never did find him.
No, there's just no reason for it. But they smell something straight away, and they say, "Oh, that reeks."
Yeah, Rose
Whatever it
Rose
is,
smells
but
something as soon as she goes
yeah.
in the room, and she kind of passes out, doesn't she, onto
She
the
does.
bed?
So she has a really bad reaction to it.
Yeah, so it kind of hits her straight away in the nostrils.
Yeah.
And Phil
And not so much Phil or Violet.
Oh, Violet, no, they two don't really react to it. And Phil notices all this crap that's in Rose's bed. I like this scene. So he goes to confront Walter, and he says, "If you don't leave my family again, I'm going to have to kill you."
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's really threatening.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to kill you.
So yeah, he disposes of the mattress, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then you're right. The next morning, he has that confrontation with Walter.
Yeah,
And then he goes and he's developing this relationship with Beverly.
yeah.
So he goes and Phil goes and has a few drinks with her.
Was Beverly the teacher? Was Violet's teacher that she said recommended her the job?
No.
She wasn't. So we never meet that person.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who was the teacher, Adam?
Ah, okay. Oh wow. I had not put that into.
I thought it was really obvious.
It was, and I had not put
15 minutes of the start of this
I
film.
had not put 2 and 2 together at all.
She was grading papers.
That's really bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite bad.
Why has nobody mentioned the fact that Violet's teachers who recommended Phil to get the job has been murdered?
It's not there anymore.
Yeah.
I think it does come up as a line later on.
Apologies,
But
I
it's
did
literally
not
a throwaway
get
line.
that at all. I did not pick up on that at all.
I could see the clogs.
I could see the clogs turning in my head.
Them shoes turning in your brain.
That's really bad that I missed that. How am I missing things in really simple horror films? That's my lifeblood.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing this film isn't, it's taxing intellectually.
Not at all. But
Especially
apparently
compared to what we've watched the last couple of weeks.
so. Completely. I still haven't got over Animal World. I think that might be what's in my head. Anyway, let's go back onto subject. Forget that I even said that. So yeah, so he goes back to Beverly's apartment for a drink, doesn't he?
He does.
And why is there this like vase gets knocked off a table?
Yeah, his flower pot
Flower pot type.
just jumps off the table, doesn't
On
it?
its own and breaks. Phil doesn't even offer to help her clean that up. He just goes, right, I'm going now.
Yeah, he does.
See ya.
Yeah, I'm off.
I'm off now. And some music starts playing again.
Yeah, the music box. He's like a busman's holiday, isn't he? He's a maintenance guy. Maybe it's
I'm
like,
not cleaning that up.
I'm on my
fucking job.
I'm on my downtime. I'm out of here.
So as we stay with her after he's left, and she starts freaking out a little bit because she can hear this music playing, and she looks through
there's some thudding, isn't there?
Outside in the corridor outside the apartment, and she kind of looks through the peephole on the door, and she sees like two shadows appear at the door.
So
on the wall opposite.
There's one shadow, and then a smaller shadow steps out of the bigger shadow.
Yeah.
And then they
disappear. The screen, the peephole just goes black, and she screams.
Yeah. And
that's like the end of that scene. And then in the next scene, you see Johnson again coming back out of the mechanical room again. He loves it in there.
He does.
And this is where he reveals his weird side, because Phil and Julio are cleaning out an empty apartment.
Yeah. So it is the apartment from the start of the film.
With the teacher in.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're kind of cleaning that all out, and they spot some blood on the floor.
It's not some blood.
It's a footprint of blood.
It's pretty much a full bloody footprint on the floor.
Yeah.
Which is very obvious.
It before.
Yeah.
So they spot it, and so they think, we'll have to point that out to the manager, which they do.
It's like the police would definitely have had that cleaned up.
Yeah. And instead of doing anything about it, Johnson just gets the floor buffer machine and cleans it off.
So now you are now implicating that Johnson knows more than he's letting on.
Or he just wants these apartments let out, and he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
He just wants to get them rented out. This is the point where Violet gets stuck in the lift.
Yeah.
And she's kind of freaking out a little bit. She's in the lift going down.
Yep. There is a lot of I feel like we've seen a lot of this in the last few weeks as well, especially with this and he's out there. So there is so much power outage stuff, used as a scary trope. The lights are out.
Just like a standard trope for horror films, though, isn't it? So.
But it must happen 5 times in this movie.
Do you remember where it was most relevant was in going back into season 1? I am the pretty thing that lives in the house.
Yes.
Where the power never went out, but nobody ever turned any lights on.
Yeah, that's true.
She just wouldn't turn the lights on in that house. It was weird. Go and check out our episode on I am the pretty thing that lives in the house.
So whilst, again, you've got 2 intercut scenes here.
Yeah, you have.
You've got Violet stuck in the lift, and you've got Phil and Julio getting into the mechanical room.
Yeah, they decide they're going to figure out what's in the mechanical room. And this is a huge red herring in this film.
Yeah, massively.
What do they call them? It's like MacGuffin or something, isn't it? When something like that happens in a film and it doesn't mean anything. So we find out at this point that the only reason Johnson is in and out of the mechanical room is because it has a peephole through into the girls' changing rooms.
Yeah.
Because there's like a pool and spa, isn't there, in this apartment. And that's it. And we never go back there again.
Nope.
And it's just like a massive red herring for the whole film.
So that's pretty much Johnson eliminated from our inquiries at this point.
He's just a creepy pervert.
Yeah.
All the while, Violet is still stuck in the lift, and Walter's kind of watching her on the cameras now.
He is. He's there rocking back and forward, chanting again.
Yeah. And the lift starts moving, and it takes her down into the basement level, right down at the bottom where Walter is. And
he kind of pounces on her, basically.
Yeah, she kind of runs into him, doesn't she? And
he's chanting in her face.
He's gone all chanty again in her face. And she manages to escape, and she runs up the stairs into the lobby and runs straight into her dad. So he's going to have to kill him.
Yeah, because he's got to follow through.
Because he's like, I've told you to stay away from my daughters.
And he does say, I am taking this guy down right now.
Yeah. But what is he supposed to do instead?
He does not kill him.
He does not kill him. Completely unsuccessfully. Well, he tries to frame him, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he plants some evidence.
Yeah, he knows.
In Walter's apartment.
He goes back up to the old lady's who's missing now. Yeah. Goes back to her room and breaks her walking cane in half.
Yeah.
And plants the top half in Walter's room. And then he says to Julio, I'm going to make an anonymous call. And he says it like it was the most badass thing he'd ever done.
Infallible plan from the ex-copper. So, I mean, there is, as he's placing planting this evidence in Walter's apartment, there is still a bit of a half-hearted effort to imply that Walter is a suspect, because there's
massively.
There's loads of women's handbags, children's shoes.
Phil was adamant that he was a bad guy, and
Yes.
that's why he wanted to frame him, just to give, because he says to Julio, doesn't he, we'll make this anonymous call and that will make them look, and they will find other stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like we're framing him for something, they will find stuff. And then in the next scene you see Walter getting taken away by the police.
Yeah.
So a couple of cops come and arrest him.
Yeah, and then we have another scene with Phil and Beverly.
Yes. a bit more exposition about the past. And
Phil basically tells Beverly that his wife died in a fire.
Yeah.
And he was able to say Violet was outside, so she wasn't in danger.
Yeah.
And Phil managed to save Rose, but
then he couldn't get back up.
He could not
to
get back in and save his wife. And they have a kiss.
They do a little bit.
Not seen any bone zoning for a while.
No, there's not been a lot of naughty in this season. And then we're at night again, aren't we? And
yep.
Phil is awakened again in the middle of the night by a knock on the door. Something woke him up in the night. I think it was a knock.
Yeah.
And he goes, because he goes to the door and he goes out to check to see and there's nobody there. And then as he walks through the door, something grabs his foot.
Yeah, and he's pulled
pulled
away, like we saw Vondel and the teacher right at the start.
Yeah, but then he wakes up and that's another dream.
Oh no, he does, because Walter then attacks him.
Yeah,
that's it. Also in his dream.
Yeah. Then we were at the next day and Walter's back in the apartment building.
Yeah, shaking Johnson's hand,
and apparently the police didn't find anything, which Julio was not happy about, was he? Because he was adamant that they were going to find something, and Julio's like, "Oh, you kind of sold me down the river there."
Yeah. I'm involved in
this
something
now, then there's nothing there.
It was an innocent guy. And Phil has another dream.
There's a lot more dreams than I remember.
Yeah. So this time he's dreaming that he can see Walter doing his voodoo.
Yeah.
And he sees Walter rocking back and forward.
Yeah.
And I think I've written down what Walter says. So he says, "You can't protect them. I am coming for them."
Yeah, I've written that down as well. It's exactly what he said.
Dreams can come true, as Gabrielle once sung.
First single I ever brought.
Was it? Really?
Yeah, it was.
That's a bit shit. Unlucky.
I brought it at the same time as All That She Wants by Ace of Base.
Okay, that's better.
Both, so, yeah. Random. 1993. I've written here, Phil gets sent to a dab school, but I don't know what that means.
Really? Does he? What?
No.
So bust some moves?
I think it says job.
All right.
Phil gets sent to a job and leaves Julio with his kids.
He does. So I know where we are now. So they're like, they spend a lot of time like folding cardboard.
They do.
and that's what Phil and Julio are doing again, just outside Phil's apartment.
Yeah.
And a boss lady comes down who I don't think we've ever seen before.
I was going to say that to you. We've never met this lady before, but she was massively in charge.
Yeah.
She wasn't Johnson.
No.
Why could it not just have been him and would have saved money on some actor?
Because she is about to do some stuff with Julio.
She didn't have to. They didn't have to enter the bone zone.
And yeah, she's not been in it
She
before.
came in as if we should know who she was. Yeah. And I was like, who the fuck's there?
And she basically says, "Phil, go and sort out a lock."
So yeah, something's gone wrong somewhere.
And Julio goes, "Oh, maybe should I go with him? Oh no, I'll stay here and I'll keep an eye on the girls.
I'll look after the girls."
And then this lady basically pounces on Julio.
Yeah, takes him into some sort of cupboard.
Dirty Julio, you've got a wife.
And you're looking after two kids.
Yeah.
Disgusting. And
you see it honestly through Walter's CCTV.
Yeah.
That this lady drags Julio away.
Yeah.
To have some fun times.
And then you get a shot of Phil and he looks really tired.
Yes.
And I've written me too.
But he wasn't downstairs.
He wasn't, no.
He's got to the apartment to do this job and he's suddenly he's really like hangdog. And you're right. Really, he's like,
really tired.
I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
But he wasn't in the scene before.
No. And it hasn't been.
But it makes sense that
he's
tired because he's had all these dreams.
Yeah. But he did look really tired in that
one. But it didn't flow, did it?
No.
From the scene to scene.
It did. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because from this point on now, Phil goes a bit mental.
Yeah.
And to say the least. But yeah, you're right.
It's not a slow build.
Not even slightly. It was like, boom, there, done. There's your twist. We notice now again that Rose has disappeared again.
Yes.
But he finds her again looking into the furnace once more.
Well, Phil and Violet both go to look for her.
Yeah, they do.
And
eventually they
find her
looking into the furnace. And Julio is back in their apartment now.
Yeah, so he's got back from his jollies.
Doing the naughty.
And he notes the door's still open to the apartment, but the girls have both gone.
Yeah.
So he wanders in. He lets the dog out.
Yeah.
Which runs off.
Yeah.
Don't know why he let the dog out. And he happens to put his hand on a ball.
He's just finished that.
Yeah, he sorted himself out. But it's Vondel's ball.
He finds it it's in like a doll's house.
Yeah.
Why was he looking inside the doll's house?
He just put his hand down. I don't know.
He just found it out, and it wasn't like it wasn't like it was on
unless
display.
the dog knocked it out when it ran out of the cage. I'm not sure.
Maybe I don't know, but he finds it anyway.
And it's clear. Yeah, it's clear. It's the same ball that Vondel was throwing around earlier. It's in this doll's house, and he sort of pulls back the curtain in front of the doll's house, and there's 4 figures in there.
Yeah,
and two of them are burnt.
Yes.
The mother and one of the kids
Yes.
are all
The
burnt.
twist is coming.
Yeah.
Cut to Phil and Walter fighting, basically.
In front of the furnace.
In front of the furnace. Phil beats Walter quite badly.
Yeah.
And then Rose just appears out of nowhere and shows up.
And meanwhile, Violet's fled the scene and she's gone to see Bev.
She's gone to see Beverly. Julio comes downstairs and Phil tells him, look, I've just beaten Walter quite badly.
Yeah, he says, like, I have fucked up.
I think he says, I
come
have
and help
fucked
me.
up. And they turn around the corner, but Walter's not there anymore.
Yeah, he's not in front of the furnace. Meanwhile, because this is like
It
rapid
cuts
fire
around,
now. The boss lady,
The last 20 minutes goes, doesn't it? It really moves.
the boss lady hands Johnson a letter,
Yes.
and he's like, "Oh, this ain't good," isn't he?
Yeah, it's exactly what he says.
Is it? It's just
Pretty
like,
much, yeah. Julio confronts Phil about the ball here, and Rose says, "Oh, it's my ball." And Julio turns to Rose and he says, "Who are you? I've never met you before."
Yeah.
When he clearly has. And so this is you start thinking, "Oh, something creepy's going on before."
And she says, "People don't see me before it's their time."
Yes. And then Phil comes up behind Julio.
He does a proper like heel turn smile.
Yeah. And then
He's like,
slices his throat open.
does. Julio is gone.
Julio is gone at the hands of our hero, Phil.
Well, just before that, you hear the music playing.
Yeah.
And Rose has got this little like game, hasn't she?
Yeah.
So
It's
one
like
of those old-fashioned ones where you got to
get
get
the balls in the hole.
Yeah,
But
like a little handheld one.
It's a clown's face.
Yeah.
And when all the balls go in the hole,
It's murder time.
It's murder time, and it turns red, doesn't it?
Mm.
And I must admit, at that point, I sat up and started taking notice. So I'm like, there's a twist coming here, and I don't think I've seen it coming. In fact, I didn't see it coming.
So Phil slashes Julio's throat, and yeah, well, I've just written, well, it's Rose that's giving the orders.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't expect that.
I didn't at all.
I mean, it doesn't really make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
It's ridiculous. But
it's a neat little twist.
interesting.
It's a neat little twist that I don't think we're spoiling anything now to say that Rose isn't real.
Yeah.
And she is controlling Phil's actions.
Yeah.
All the way through.
So meanwhile, Violet's still at Beverly's apartment, and
Yeah.
she's showing Beverly pictures of Rose.
Yes.
And Bev says, "Oh, well, I've never met her before."
Yeah.
Has she? I don't know how well this is told up because there is no way I'm going back to check this.
I don't think she did, because if you remember right at the beginning, she says, I didn't see a 6-year-old, but I did see a 14-year-old.
And she didn't see her at the party because Phil
'Cause
said,
Phil-
"Oh, she's already run off somewhere."
Exactly.
But I don't know if it would hold up through the whole thing with everyone.
I don't
I'd
think it
like
does
to
with
think
Julio.
so.
I think it might do with Beverly, but I'm not sure it does with Julio.
Right, okay.
But I might be wrong. Maybe we'll have to watch it again.
No.
Yeah, so they're kind of having a chat about what happened, aren't they? And Violet reveals that Rose did die in the fire and that they were twins.
Yeah, so she shows a picture of herself,
Yeah.
and Beverly says, "Oh, look, there's another picture of Rose."
Yeah.
I get it's badly written. It's very clumsy. But Violet goes, "Oh no, that one's me." Oh yeah, she was my twin.
Yeah. And we're the same age.
Yeah.
And
And Beverly says, "Well, yeah, but I thought you said she was 7. She says, "Oh yeah, she was
she was 7,
7
when she died.
Yeah.
And all the while this is going on, you get scenes of Johnson like storming downstairs.
Yeah, he's looking for Phil.
He's being the angry boss man.
Yeah.
And he's basically found out that Phil has forged his resume.
Yes.
But before he gets to confront him, he turns around the corner and Phil's just there really comically putting a body in the furnace.
Yeah.
And it's just its feet hanging out the end.
Julio from the knee down is hanging.
Real shame, because it really broke the tension for me, because it just made me giggle. Because his
fold,
face as well, he's
fold him
like,
into the
you can
furnace.
tell he's been caught, because his face is like, oh!
Yeah, but it's bad acting, isn't it?
really
Because
bad.
it's not like angry. It is like naughty schoolboy. Oh, I've been
oh
caught
no, shit.
with my hand in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
Except the cookie jar's a furnace and his hand is Julio.
Julio's legs. But Johnson doesn't last any longer now, because Phil hits him with a hammer.
Yeah, he sees Rose.
Yeah.
So they chase around for a little bit, don't they?
And Johnson sees Rose she kind of stands in front of him all of a sudden. She just appears out of nowhere. And Phil comes up behind him and hits him with a hammer.
And Rose says, "Daddy, Violet's telling."
Yeah. So she can tell what Violet's saying upstairs.
So off upstairs we go.
And this is the point where I've written, Violet's lines are really badly dubbed. Question mark, question mark, question mark. I was like, that's the first time I spotted it. But if you're saying it happened all the way through.
Definitely. I spotted it earlier, definitely. But I think I know the bit you mean when she's talking to Beverly.
Awful.
And
she was like full on in the frame.
It's like
her
a second
face,
behind.
At least. It just looks awful. Violet reveals at this point then that Rose was the one that burned down the house.
Yeah.
She set the fire in the first place.
And then over Violet's shoulder, Beverly can suddenly see Rose.
Yeah.
And Rose says, "My daddy broke my neck and then threw me out the window."
Yeah.
That was creepy.
That was creepy.
So she set the fire.
Yeah.
Phil then killed her.
Yeah.
Couldn't save his wife.
Couldn't save his wife.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So Violet and Bev run for it, basically.
Yeah, they have to. So, but they when you're escaping, don't get in a lift.
No.
Because that's so,
not these lifts.
Not these
They've
lifts.
never worked.
No.
All the way through this movie.
So they go into this lift to escape, and they end up in the basement,
Yeah.
like right back where we started, basically. And Phil's there, and he starts like chasing them around a bit, and then Walter kind of whacks him.
Yeah.
With something.
Walter's kind of arisen
From somewhere. And he throws something into Rose's face, doesn't he?
He does.
It's the same kind of mixture that he had earlier on.
So special herbs, gypsy herbs.
He's got her in this like circle on the floor, like a burning circle of
He
fire.
puts a chain around her. So he makes a circle out of a metal chain, which then goes on fire. And
it's gonna fire.
He's
Chanting again.
dusting her with all these herbs and stuff and leaves.
I think we can gather from this that Walter knew from the very beginning.
He's seen her all along.
Yeah, Rose. Yeah. He's always seen Rose, and he always knew what she was.
Yeah.
So all the way through, they've played this film as if Walter's the bad guy in this film, when actually he's the hero, or not so much the hero, but not pretty much the good guy.
He's the one in the know.
He's the one in the know, and he's the one trying to save everybody else.
And he's basically trying to do an exorcism, isn't he?
Yeah.
Or vanquish this demon little girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't love this film. I didn't particularly like this film, but I was willing to give it credit because at least it had intrigued me.
I thought this twist was really neat. I didn't see it coming, and I like it when that
at
happens.
This point, it then almost lost all of its goodwill with me because the most stupid thing happens.
Completely agree.
So we're in the middle of this exorcism, whatever you want to call it.
Walter's got her there. He stabs her with something as well. He's like really
he's crucifying her.
Yeah.
So he puts bolts through her wrists.
Yeah.
He puts a bolt through one of her ankles.
Yeah.
And then
all this while there's burning chains going on.
Yeah, and we're obviously about to get rid of this demon.
And Violet's all on it.
Violet's like, do it.
Finish
it.
Finish this.
And then Bev, out of nowhere, it's like, you're hurting her.
Yeah.
Stop it. What?
It made me so angry.
She's just being chased by this psychopath.
Violet's trying to hold her back, saying, look, no, this needs to happen. We need to get rid of
ridiculous.
Rose. She needs to be gone. And Beverly's like, oh, but it's a little girl and you're hurting this little girl. And eventually
I don't know, it's a stupid little film, but it was so it stuck out in a bad way. So it completely took me away from it.
I couldn't agree more. It did me. Beverly kind of knocks Violet out of the way because Violet's desperately trying to hold her back.
She breaks the circle, yeah.
Yeah, and Beverly like lunges at Walter and stabs him.
Yeah.
No, Phil stabbed him.
Phil comes back. Beverly broke the circle.
Yeah, and hits Walter, moves and gets him out of the way, which rejuvenated Rose.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. And then Phil and Walter start tussling again, don't they? And Phil's got this knife.
Yeah.
And
Walter even says, I am trying to save you, Phil.
Yeah. And Phil very slowly digs this knife into Walter's chest.
Yeah.
And stabs him. And
I'm all out by this point. And what happens next?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So Phil then goes after Beverly.
Yeah.
Because obviously she needs to be killed
That's
as well.
What they were doing before.
Exactly. And
this interruption.
Rose says, you can't kill her.
Yes, just says
Don't
stop.
kill Beverly, stop. I want a mummy.
Yeah.
I've
literally written WTF.
Yeah, me too. And then we're getting to the end, right to the end now, because the 3/4 of them walk out of this.
There's 4 of them.
There's 4 of them. But Rose is there, but she's not.
we can see her.
Yeah, we can see her, but she's generally not there. And they're kind of walking out of this apartment block together.
They're all holding hands.
Yeah.
So Phil, Beverly, Violet and Rose.
Yeah, but then as they go past, the guy who works in the lobby looks at them from behind and Rose isn't there.
Yeah.
So there's 3/4. Yeah. That's what I've written. And Phil says to Rose, are we done, baby? And she says, no, Daddy, we're just getting started. And then the credits hit.
I've written, ah ha 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 ha.
But there is eventually, after a long time, the post-credit scene comes on.
Yeah.
All it is Walter's chair, and then a hand grabs the top of it. And they desperately tease a sequel that is not coming.
The Walter franchise.
And that's the end of the film. And it's a real shame because that last 5 minutes fucked the whole thing up.
Yeah, totally. Like I say, this isn't a good film, but I was at least it was trying something a bit different.
This isn't a bad film. This is a decent horror film.
It felt to me like this was the movie equivalent of just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what stuck.
Yeah.
And some of it did, some of it absolutely didn't. Like I say, it had tried something a bit different. Probably the best thing about this was that pre-credits sequence.
Right at the beginning.
And then that the ending bit with stupid Beverly.
The twist is really good because you do not see that with Rose coming. I didn't see it coming, that she was a ghost all along.
I got it a little bit before.
Did you?
But it was only because but I was along for the ride with it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, well, that's stupid, but fine. I'll go with it.
But
I thought it was going to be Phil.
Yeah. It was always Phil.
Yeah.
But Walter turning from the creepy bad guy to the anti-hero almost at the end.
I never thought it was Walter, though.
No, I didn't.
At any point, that didn't work for me.
No.
That was always the fake.
But as a neat little horror film, it works really well. And if he'd have got rid of Rose at the end, then that'd have been the end of the film. It's a neat little horror film. There's no issue with it. But the minute Beverly said, no, don't kill her, she's a little girl, even though she knew she was a dead ghost demon girl, fucked it. Completely fucked it. They fucked the whole film. And it was unnecessary. And they only did it because they thought, oh, we might get a sequel out of this. It's got Val Kilmer in it.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame because they fucked that whole film.
I'll tell you what, though, I would take this a million times over
He's Out There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was, well, it's like I say, was...
It's a better horror film. It's a better horror film.
But you understand why I didn't like that, because it was just mean and horrible and not entertaining.
And not original and boring.
Yeah, but it is stupid. It's completely ridiculous, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah. It's got
a few good jumps in it. Val Kilmer's quite good value in it. He's playing a
certainly not the worst film
like I say, a Romany guy, but he's all craggy and it's quite interesting to watch him. I
think he genuinely looks like that.
Yeah. I'm not saying
he's had a lot of issues with illnesses and stuff, hasn't he? Yeah. Did he have throat cancer?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because in The Snowman he can barely talk at all, so he's got a voice back at least now.
It's 90 minutes long. It breezes past.
Yeah.
And then it just completely fucks it at the end.
It's a fun little watch, but they fuck it up completely. And it's such a shame.
It's weird. It's odd. It's
almost like somebody's gone.
It's interesting.
It's almost like they've got to the very end of filming and somebody's gone, ooh, do you know we might get a sequel out of this? And they've gone, change the end.
Yeah, we've not done enough twists.
We've not done enough twists.
We
need to keep all these characters alive,
4
please.
Twists in this.
There is. And it's like, don't kill any characters off. Nobody gets killed in the whole film. Apart from the 2 in the opening. We don't know what happened to Vandal. Maybe he did. None of our main characters. All of our main characters survive.
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, it's such a shame. It really is a shame. They fucked it.
I would put this as a good shit film.
Yeah, it's a decent shit film.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't think it's a hidden gem. I don't think I've successfully found a hidden gem there.
And I don't think I would recommend it to anyone. I would say, this is a laugh. It's not supposed to be a laugh, but I wouldn't say go out your way.
No, and it's just only because of the last 5 minutes. Because if they'd have had a decent ending on it, it might have been all right, and I probably would have. And it's a shame. Anything else, or do you want to move on to the trivia section?
No, I think I'm.
You ready?
Supered out.
This is all about you this week. If you get this right and I get it wrong, you've won the whole season.
Oh yeah. What is it? 9-6.
9-6,
and we've got 3 to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
Can you tell me the room number that the teacher?
No.
Teacher and Brad. It's mentioned quite a few times. The teacher and Brad were in, and later the 2 ladies moved into. It's the one where Phil gets sent to do the lock.
If I don't get this right, I cannot come back. You have won.
Oh, right. Okay. Let me just check I've written it down. I'm sure I have. It's mentioned quite a few times. Go on, you give it a guess. I'll give you a clue. It's a number and then a letter.
How many digits in the number?
2 digits in the number.
And then number came into my head instantly, and I don't think it's right. Is it 27B?
You are not a million miles away.
But I'm not right.
It is 38C.
Damn it. So that makes... I can't get more than 6. Well, I can't get more than 8 now.
Okay.
Because I've got 6, and there's only 2 episodes left, but you've already got 9.
Yes.
So you have won the season. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bastard.
We can play for
We're going to keep playing. A couple of times, Johnson mentions a couple of times in this film that the building was originally the headquarters of a company
Yeah.
that was converted into an apartment block. Do you know the name of the company that owned the building originally?
It's something investment and loans.
Close.
But I don't know.
He says it twice. For some reason, he says it twice, and I don't know why.
I can remember him saying it on the tour at the
He
start.
said it to Phil, and then he said it again, but I can't remember when he said it.
I'm not sure what the name of it is though. Is it like is it like ghostly investments and loans?
That's exactly what it is. No, it's not. It's Peter Moore Savings and Loans.
Right, okay.
But you were close. You got loans right, at least. So congratulations.
Who's Peter Moore? Is that
it?
I didn't know
brother.
Okay.
Congratulations, you've won the season there.
Thank you.
We'll keep doing it.
I'd say it was never in doubt, but it was definitely in doubt.
It was at one point, but you've got like 8 in a row.
Oh, well, before today, I think.
Yeah, mental.
Good run. Biding my time, that's all it was.
Definitely. Shall we talk about the stream table?
Yeah, let's.
Which sort of area of the stream table am I looking at?
I would suggest we're looking down the bottom somewhere.
Certainly not at this top end.
Well, I know where it goes.
What, instantly?
Yep.
Straight in? Go on then.
Go up. Go up.
Wow.
Well, it's for me. It's between the resort and He's Out There.
It's definitely better than He's Out There.
Yeah, I can't. It's not lower than that. No way.
No, it's not. You're right. It's not.
I think it slots in there.
I think it slots in there perfectly. I think you're right.
It's clear. It's a clear place for it. I would suggest.
It's definitely better than He's Out There, and it's not as good as the resort.
Yeah.
So that's probably the easiest one we've ever done.
I just think it's no
it's
debate.
It's
really
built for it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just put it there.
There you
straight
go.
in. That was easy.
Quick, painless.
So below the resort and above He's Out There.
So what's that? 16th.
Yeah, 16th. 16th for the Super.
16 out of 23.
Yes.
Yeah.
That just leaves us with one last thing to do. Do you want to pick next week's film?
Sure do.
Penultimate film of the season.
Let's do it.
Right, I'm going to press the button. Are you ready?
Sure.
It has picked a film called The Last Laugh.
Okay.
Or The Last Laugh.
Depending how posh we're feeling.
Depending how posh we are. Let me just look it up on IMDb and I'll see what it says.
The Last Laugh.
The Last Laugh. Oh, recent. The Last Laugh was from 2019.
Oh, wow. Mere months old.
Do you want to know the synopsis?
Sure do.
When retired talent manager Al Hart is reunited with his first client, Buddy Green, a comic who quit showbiz 50 years ago, he convinces Buddy to escape their retirement community and hit the road for a cross-country comedy tour.
Right, okay. Wow.
Would you like to know the two main characters in this film?
Yes,
two
please.
main actors in this film.
Yes, please.
This film stars Chevy Chase
Okay.
and Richard Dreyfuss
Okay.
and Andy McDowell.
Right.
How's this at the bottom of the screen?
Okay, that is certainly very different to
Richard
this.
Kine's in it as well.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah, he's great. We haven't done a comedy for ages. We haven't done many comedies in this season.
It feels like it skews towards a bit of an older audience, but I'll give it a go.
Definitely. Do you want to watch the trailer?
Yeah, let's do it.
And what better way to show you the grounds of Palm Sunshine than to have one of our residents give you a tour?
Buddy? Al Hart. Ah, you got old. Me?
That's how I didn't recognize
You look like a mummy.
Buddy was my first client ever. He was one of the funniest up-and-comers. I booked him everywhere. I get the call.
From Ed Sullivan?
Every comic stream.
What happened?
I became a podiatrist.
You gave up show business for feet?
Yep.
You don't miss it.
What?
Why not let me get you a few gifts?
I retired 50 years ago.
What a great comeback story.
Okay, hit it.
$10, they won't make it to Glendale.
We'll play Chicago and Vegas. I'm gonna book you on the Tonight Show.
He's making a comeback. Buddy Green.
I decided to do it for the laughs.
No one's laughing.
Poor guy hasn't gotten laid since he made parole. And by the way, nice mullet.
Do you even have an act?
I never had an act.
I got 50 years of jokes.
My wife loved sex. Her favorite position was the missionary position. That's where she's in bed, on her back, and I'm in Africa.
By the time we get to New York City, you're gonna be in top form.
Have you heard from Carson's people yet?
Not yet. And you're 2 hosts behind.
What brings you to Kansas City?
I'm on tour.
I knew you were a rock star.
Grandpa's still got game.
Dad, I'm just supposed to be thrilled that you found yourself at 80?
Yes.
Hey, Al.
Yeah, buddy.
Thanks.
It's what I do.
Whoa. All right.
Oh, no.
What?
Holy shit.
Oh, you.
I will buy pot for you. I will buy you a brick of Maui whoopee. Hey, what's up? Listen, you look like some pretty cool dudes. I'm just looking to score a little bit of Mary Jane pot. And stay in school.
Occasionally, these elderly male actors do films like this, don't they?
Yeah. I watched one the other week.
Did you?
With Morgan Freeman and Alan Alda and
Las
Michael
Vegas.
Caine.
Is it Las Vegas?
No, it's they do a bank robbery.
Oh,
what's it called?
yeah, I've seen it.
Zach Braff directed it.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's
that's
called.
one that really bugged me, but I've seen it as well.
It was alright.
Yeah, it was all right.
That
looks all right.
It had the girl out of Wish Upon in it. She played Michael Caine's granddaughter.
Oh, really?
Check out our episode on Wish Upon from season 1. I can't remember what it's called. I want to say it was called like The Last Job or something like that.
Yeah, it is called something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll find out and I'll insert a voice clip of me saying the name of the film
Okay, fine.
robotically.
Or we'll
right
just
now.
admin it next week.
Going in style. Yeah, that looks all right. That was Chevy Chase and Richard Dreyfuss.
Chevy Chase, I've said before, Community, I think, is like the best sitcom ever, and he's good in that.
It looks a bit more
we'll
light-hearted than we've been used to these last few weeks.
Apparently, he's an absolute knobhead.
Yeah, I've
though.
heard that. I've heard that.
See if we can find some Chevy Chase stories for next week.
Let's do it. Cool. So yeah, go out and watch The Last Laugh before next week, and we'll be back next week to talk about it.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.